again, you don't know what's going to happen, but it's like a bunch of megaphones all sounding at the same time that this is going to be a very key 5 days, week time period in April that something major is going to happen.
Exactly. That's like Moses, right? He raises the staff up. All of a sudden the sea opens. No one knew that was going to happen. So the point is, no one knows what's going to happen at that time point. Only God does, because God has a plan, right? All I know is that it's going to be a godly moment. And that godly moment is preordained and designed by God. So we will watch and we'll see. We'll see what it is. But it's supposed to, in cycle work, change the world. That's the time point that we step into a new era, a new world. The world you knew is finished, and we're stepping into a whole new timeline.
Bo, I posted earlier today on Telegram and on Parler. I told everybody I would be interviewing you today, and I said, what do you want me to ask Bo? And the number one question is always about President Trump. And so I just want to ask you, you don't know exactly what's going to happen, which way the story is going to twist and turn. But as you see it, and as you have talked with prophets, and as you look at the cycles, I know you're friends with Amanda Grace and some other people. Do you see President Trump coming back into the presidency at some point?
Okay, so all I can tell you is that when Moses raised up the staff to part the Red Sea, he was there. Noah got off the ark, he was there. So all I can tell you is the probability that Trump is there at this moment in time is really great. And God's in charge. And so I wouldn't bet against God. Let's just put it that way.
I like the way that sounds. Well, both the other thing we wanted to talk about was the cryptocurrency markets are at historic all-time highs. And even people that don't know what Bitcoin is, they've probably heard the word, and people are starting to take notice when it's on CNBC and not even just the business shows, but it's on the mainstream news at this point, talking about Bitcoin exceeding 50,000, setting new all-time highs. You've got companies like Mass Mutual buying Bitcoin as part of their reserves. You've got Tesla buying Bitcoin now, I think $1.5 billion worth. It is now hitting the mainstream news, and also gold and silver are starting to make a lot of news with Wall Street bets and the silver market, and is it manipulated, and is it about to go sky high? So you start where you want to start, but let's talk gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies.
So the next step of this would be to consider this entire world, everything we just talked about. Noah, think about what's controlling the entire financial system.
Money.
Right. What particular money? What's the world reserve currency?
The dollar.
That's correct. All of what we're talking about is the end of the world as you know it. The world as we know, the financial system is supposed to end and a new world comes online. You have to remember the world reserve currency comes to an end. So what it basically is indicating is that with all of these cycles, when we're talking the Nixon cycle as well, with 49 years and the 50-year Jubilee, the dollar has to crash. The dollar has to sizably drop in value. That's not saying it's going to go to zero tomorrow or in April. It has to sizably fall from grace. And so by May, the end of April and beginning of May, we're going to have a new financial system online. So I believe we're going to have a new system everyone's going to be now wanting, going to be using, and going to be a part of. And the old system is just that. It's the old system. And people are going to be trying to get out of that one as fast as they can. So the cycle itself indicates from the time Ginsburg died, the 10 days of awe, so Rosh Hashanah, 10 days of awe to Yom Kippur. If we go to page 12, there's your dollar cycle. Yom Kippur, which is the holiest day of the biblical year. Since that exact time point, the US dollar has been in a down cycle and they're trying to hold it from crashing, but it's already fallen from 94 and it's currently in the 90s. The dollar itself is going to crash and burn, and it's going to drop. It's going to continue to fall and then start to plunge. As it starts to plunge, cryptocurrencies are going to explode higher. You remember in our last interview, I think Bitcoin is in the high 30s and now it's already at the 50s. And what did I say the last interview? We're looking at $200,000 for Bitcoin this year, not 50. Okay, so Bitcoin's got a lot of room to run still. It's only warming up. This is the really incredible part. If you can go to page 13, so you'll see what happened precisely as the biblical new year began. So right on Yom Kippur, Bitcoin turned up and it hasn't looked back. It blasted through 10,000, which was the floor they was fighting at for months. It finally took out 10,000, and you can see now it's at 52. It hasn't looked back since 10,000, but it's not the price. It hasn't looked back since the biblical new year began. I hope that is the clearest thing that I want people to understand, is that we're living in biblical times. So we're seeing the fall of the dollar, the fall of the world reserve currency, and the rise of cryptocurrencies, and soon enough, the rise of gold and silver. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are doing nothing but front running the trade because someone knows what's coming. And so they're piling into cryptocurrencies because basically they know that the financial system that we grew up with is about to fall.
Wow. Yeah, Bo, I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't think you are either, but I can look at that chart and I can see that that's a clear message right there. People can make up their own decisions, but you've been on our show a lot earlier in that chart telling people that they might want to get some Bitcoin, and they would have done well if they did. Bo, I see the start date for that cycle with your yellow box. How long does this cycle run for an up cycle, an up season in Bitcoin?
Okay, so that's something that basically I provide within my time analysis. So I'm not going to get into the details of that, but I can tell you this year is going to be a great year for cryptocurrencies. Even at 50,000 on Bitcoin, that's still a warm up. We're supposed to see bigger numbers really soon. Don't be surprised that next week we might hit 60. Bitcoin's warming up, and it's going to continue to go. Why? Because the dollar has a down cycle. And Bitcoin is right now, if you look at page 12 and you look at page 13, they're identically opposite.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so that's the critically important thing to consider. The only reason Bitcoin's going up is because the world reserve currency is falling and someone knows something. And when the world reserve currency begins to plunge, crash, what's going to catch fire is gold and silver. And that we've got on pages, starting on page 9.
9. Bo, certainly if the dollar crashes and burns and we have a new world reserve currency or a new financial system, that would certainly be the type of new world emerging from April that you're talking about.
Yes, I look at the charts. All I see is a chart on silver that has been manipulated for 40 years. And it's almost at liftoff, okay? So if you scroll back to page 9, you'll see what I'm talking about. So if you look at page 9, what you see is gold. You'll see the battle at gold at $1,556. It says 30 bars, 210 days. Right, yeah, exactly, right there. So that is a price. It took 210 days for gold finally to bust through and go vertical and then go above $2,000, making a new all-time high. So it took gold approximately 210 days, $1,556. Silver is doing nothing different than gold. It's just lagging. Silver is very unique when you look at it on the charts. It gets going slower, so it takes longer to get going. Historically, it's always done this. It takes longer to get going, but it makes it faster and first to the top. So that's why silver is going to be explosive relative to gold. Gold can go a little longer, but silver gets there faster and it explodes on its way there. If you look at the blue zone there for silver, Noah, you'll see that we're just shy of 210 days. So by the time March hits, no later than April, we're going to be beyond the 210 days, and we're going to have liftoff for silver through 26. So $26 range is equivalent to $1,556 $556 range for gold.
Wow.
And the next move for silver, like gold, when it took out $1,556, shortly thereafter, it made a new all-time high. Same is going to happen with silver. Silver is going to take out 50 on its next move, probably heading into the 60 plus range. That will be the next immediate target for silver. And then it's going to pull back, and then we're going to triple digits. So we're probably going to see, 3 digits. Prices are harder, but cycles I'm showing. All I know is that $100 silver is coming very soon. And I don't mean years away. And that takes us to the next page. And this shows you why $26 is so important. You can see that on page 10. Because right now, look where the blue arrow is pointing.
It's right there at that line, isn't it?
It's right. Okay, so 26 is breakaway. So that's why they're fighting to not let it take out 26, 27, hit into the 30s, because once it gets into 30, it's liftoff. And it's not going to stay at 30 very long. It's probably going to go to 40 really quick. So that's where we're at. We're at a epically important breakaway point that it's only taken 40 years to get to.
40 years of manipulation.
Yeah, but look what they did. This is the incredible part. Think about this, Noah. I didn't make up chart at the top there. I just found it on Google. And I overlaid silver monthly chart on it. So this is really cool. 40 years of price manipulation did nothing but fulfill a cup and handle chart pattern.
Right. Wow.
How incredible is that? How incredible is that? So for 40 years, everyone's been screaming manipulation. Yeah, it was manipulation only to get to this point.
Right. Bo, I want to make sure everyone just heard what you just said though a minute ago. You're breaking some major news here, and other people have said it too. You're not the only one. So you're not out on an island crazy. There are people saying this is going to happen, but $100 silver would be life-changing and market-changing to the markets. That's going to send some big shockwaves.
Well, but I want to add to that, right? We're heading into a new era. The new era does not involve the banking system as you know it.
Yes.
So
excellent.
Come May, please understand, okay, that we're going to be in a new financial era. The new financial era is not the banking system you know. So when silver does do liftoff, it's going to destroy a lot of the banking system. A lot of the banks probably. But the banking system was a part of the old system.
Isn't it funny? Even today, and now that they say it's because of the Rona, I'll just say that so we don't get banned on YouTube. But they say it's because of that. But you can't even go into a bank branch anymore; they're all closed.
That's only a start, I believe, of what we're going to see happen. So just know that when the new era comes online, it doesn't include banks at every single corner that are fully functioning and the way you knew it, because that's the old financial system. It ends. As crazy as this is between today and the start of May, where the new financial system comes online, just expect extreme change. And that takes me to when you have extreme change, Noah, every time historically there's been extreme change involving the dollar, what happens? War. So don't be surprised in March, possibly, we see a war breakout. I don't know, but remember, we're talking epic changes. And every time there's been these massive world shifts, war has been a part of the equation. So does it happen? Noah, I don't know. I'm just stating what history has shown us from the past. So we shall see. But, biblically, we're in the third seal of Revelation. The first two already opened. We're now in the third seal, which is a rebalancing of the financial system. A rebalancing of the financial system involves just that. The banking system you knew, gone. New banking system comes online. What's the new banking system? Well, it's going to be related to specifically God's money, gold and silver. So gold and silver will absolutely be a part of the new financial system, new financial era, as well as cryptocurrencies. So that's why gold.